Tomorrow marks the beginning of a new year in 2024, but also tomorrow marks the 5-year anniversary of a company known as All Elite Wrestling. January 1st, 2019, we all saw that tweet, or at least some of us saw that tweet from the Young Bucks, Matt or Nick Jackson. I don't remember who posted that, but either way, there was a tweet by the Young Bucks that posted a logo of a new company being formed called All Elite Wrestling. And then 1 week later, I kind of vaguely remember that press conference of the Young Bucks, Cody, and then Chris Jericho all standing in front of the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium, planting their flag, promising to quote unquote change the world. And what at the time in 2019, looked like a new beginning for the world of professional wrestling, a new alternative to the biggest professional wrestling company in the world, that being the WWE. A new beginning that, we haven't seen in quite some time, since the days of WCW Monday Nitro in the 1990s, before it got bought out by the WWE. And then you had TNA come around in the 2010s, and then, they dug their own grave just 2 years later. So you had AEW come around in 2019, and then 1 month later, they announced Double or Nothing, their first ever event. And then in May, just a couple months later, it was pretty good in my opinion. Like, there were some good matches being put out, a little bit of seeds of storylines for their next couple events, and they laid the foundation. They laid the foundation for what was to come. And then a few short months later, they make their television debut on TNT in Washington D.C. for their first ever show called Dynamite, which would garner over 1 million viewers on TNT. And there were a lot of interesting options for that show as the month progressed. You had the likes of Cody, the whole Inner Circle storyline with Jericho, Santana, Ortiz, and his whole group going up against Cody and his friends. And then MGF got involved as well. And then other homegrown stars like Britt Baker, Orange Cassidy, and then Jon Moxley also made his way from WWE to AEW, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, to have that feud with Kenny Omega, and then so on and so forth. And then more stars went on to make their way to AEW. And yeah, the pandemic certainly didn't help things with AEW as they're trying to grow, but hey, there's still some content to be had for AEW's first year. So where do things stand for AEW 5 years later? Well, things certainly changed for the company, and to be honest with you, having checked here and there with AEW, and I know some people are probably not going to like this. Whoever's going to cross by this video, especially the AEW diehards, I'll be honest with you, as I'm always often critical about AEW, but I do like some things about them. Having watched AEW for the last 5 years, things have not gotten better for the company. Things have slowly but surely gone downhill for AEW. They struggle to get new viewers, let alone maintain its current ones for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to get into all of them because that would just take me an eternity, but there's a variety of ones, like, bloating its roster that's now struggling to get TV time, and two of its biggest names having left the company, one of which has already went on to headline the grandest stage of them all at the other company. And, the booking has been very tacky. It's been 90% matches and 10% storyline / characters. Actually, it's been 95% matches with no story and characters. So that's basically a turnoff for new and casual wrestling fans to change the channel. So that same booking is also very on the fly, and that same booking has also screwed over some of Tony Khan's own homegrown stars. Speaking of Tony Khan, I think he's been taking on way too many projects that he has shown that he can't handle on his own. He needs help, especially with having taken on 3 TV shows now with Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, all in the span of 3 years now. And then now you have Ring of Honor. He bought Ring of Honor in 2021. That's way too much. That's way too much to handle on your own. I mean, he's not Vince McMahon trying to handle all these things. It's like, you're kind of young, man. You're kind of young. You need help. You need help around your inner circle. And then most importantly, in the span of 2022 and 2023, there's always some kind of drama, whether it be caused backstage, fighting amongst the locker room, or on social media by wrestlers, on Twitter, or by Tony Khan himself. Like, they're always getting some kind of random beef with not even like legit journalists or whatnot. just the most random of fans trying to help them out, trying to give them constructive criticism, but they deem it as hate. Like, come on. Like, they're trying to help you out, but a better product. And yet, you want to deem that as, hate. But anyway, this is not to say that AEW is all bad, because there has been some good, CM Punk, for as much we can say how he is as an individual or whatnot. He managed to make his return to wrestling in 2021. Nobody managed to think that, CM Punk would ever come back to wrestling after what happened in 2014. And that eventually paved the way for what happened 2 years later, and do the unthinkable, come back to WWE. Per se of what had happened a couple months prior to leading to that. But anyway, that's besides the point. Then you have a couple of homegrown stars in Jade Cargill, the acclaimed Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, Britt Baker, Jimmy Hayter, and all these other stars being homegrown successes, Sky Blue and whatnot. And then, of course, the most important one being MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, becoming the guy in late 2022 up to now, being the guy to right the ship somewhat, and being that big success at the top of the company, especially with that Adam Cole storyline being red hot as it is in the summer. And yeah, it sucked that it derailed with Adam Cole's injury and taking this very stupid turn with all this devil stuff, but that's besides the point. MJF, I think he had a banner year in 2023, in my opinion. Yes, some of the babyface stuff can get a little bit corny, but hey, he proved, in my opinion, he can play both roles, a good heel and a good babyface. And then, of course, All In was a big success for AEW, regardless of what you can think of it. I mean, yeah, I have mixed thoughts about it as well, but regardless, AEW All In was a big success for them. So regardless, all these positives are, again, overshadowed by all the negatives that people, frown upon. Like the negatives, it's just very highlighted because, well, a company that was supposed to change the world, be an alternative to WWE 5 years ago, and was supposed to be that way. Well, they just undid it to themselves. They tried to focus too hard on being the competition to WWE when they're still relatively kind of young. They're like 5 years old now. They're like kind of like that big kid now, per se, in life. So yeah, it's like they for a bunch of reasons, AEW is at the point where it is now. They're just like there. They're just like they're down in the dumps because, well, they have nobody to blame but themselves. But yet they make all these excuses to be like, no, we did not do this to ourselves. No. So that being said, going to 2024, which is tomorrow, it's the 5-year anniversary of AEW. So I'm here to present 5 areas of improvement for AEW to hopefully have a better 2024. And the first reason that I want to provide AEW is that, well, Tony Khan, give yourself a creative writing team. Hire some people from outside your circle to help you with all 3 shows, whether it be Dynamite, Rampage, Collision. Actually, get rid of Rampage. Let's be honest with you. But no, you're already borrowing all this money in the world from your dad. Why not use that money to go and hire some wrestlers or some writers passionate about crafting a meaningful wrestling show? Then, once you found your writing team, go and find a head of creative. Triple H is a head of creative in WWE. Why don't you have your own head of creative? I think Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson has been his go-to guy as of late. So maybe he could be the one to be the head of creative. So put together a creative writing team. Don't put everything on yourself because you're just stressing yourself out, and go from there. And then this is kind of like a 2-in-1 thing, but it's kind of important. Stop gatekeeping away the casual wrestling fan. And I know some people like to say, oh, the casual wrestling fan doesn't exist. Yes, it does, because the casual wrestling fan is just as important as the hardcore wrestling fan, because it's one thing to cater to your current wrestling fan base, because that being the hardcore wrestling fan, but it's another thing to actively turn away the other, that being the casual wrestling fan, the one that tunes in very so. And that other part being the new viewers that may be interested in what you have to offer. Thus, being another reason why the ratings continue to sink even further or be constantly complacent with Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. So AEW should be, by this point, welcoming any and all new fans that come across their show, because AEW has no reason, no excuse to be in the position that they're in, ratings-wise, for why their shows are like this way. So they should be pretty much doing anything to generate any new viewers, any casual viewers, whether it be doing actual storylines, wrestlers with actual characters. I mean, they're doing something with Tony Storm at least, for example. So, yeah, you can't simply no longer rely on being a full-on sports-based pro wrestling show that you deem is not sports entertainment, when pro wrestling and sports entertainment are the exact same thing. Because, well, the TV and the YouTube ratings, the viewership reflect that no average Joe gives a shit about AEW. And, well, considering what you put out on TV, they don't have a reason to. And then going back to the casual wrestling fan, stop assuming your audience knows who everyone and everything is. Yes, we have the internet. Yes, we have Google. Yes, we have Wikipedia. However, AEW, you do not have the excuse to go ahead and automatically assume that your audience knows every new wrestler that comes in. I mean, same thing goes for WWE, but at least WWE, they try to put out a vignette here and there. Actually, they've been doing a better job of that as of late. You know, at least trying to put out a vignette of introducing, let's say, for example, a Casey Catanzaro and a Katana Chance. I mean, actually, those are the same people. Kaden Carter. Sorry about that. At least do a better job of trying to introduce these wrestlers to people that don't know them already. But with AEW, they don't even do that. They don't even do that, other than wrestlers that are currently there, with going back to Tony Storm, for example, with their timeless gimmick. So I get it. I can understand that sometimes they can't use video footage because, like, let's say an XW wrestlers from WWE, they can't use that footage, or someone from TNA, they can't use that footage. But at least try to integrate some vignettes into your show. It doesn't have to be like a minute long, maybe like 30 or 15 seconds to introduce people to X or Y or Z wrestler. But the point I'm trying to get at is that every show is to get your viewers interested in your show and your castmates. The problem that AEW has continually for the last 5 years is that they refuse to implement vignettes to properly explain who a new wrestler is. You got to do more of that in 2024. Stop making people's lives even harder when wrestling is supposed to be an escape from the real world. Stop making them do extra homework on the side and not reward them with extra credit. And then my second most important thing is no more backstage drama. No more backstage drama. So 2022 and 2023 were perhaps AEW's worst years, especially 2023. Way too much backstage drama. With the all-out brawl-out, the CM Punk Jack Perry brawl-in that led to Punk's firing, and then Perry's indefinite suspension. There were just way too many dark clouds around that locker room. And then, of course, the social media nonsense that I pointed out to earlier, whether it be Britt Baker complaining about her lack of promo time, or Chris Jericho complaining about NDAs, and now you have this sexual allegation stuff with him and Kylie Ray. It's like just a lot of bad drama hanging around AEW that makes you say that, yeah, I don't want to be like watching this stuff right now. So either way, Tony and Shahid Khan, they need to step in, especially Shahid, because I feel like he is doing absolutely nothing to put his foot down on his son, take some control of what's going on over there, because damn, you need some kind of media, whether it's backstage and on social media, to moderate all these wrestlers' activities, because you got to take control of what's going on backstage. So no more backstage drama in 2024. And then my fifth and final area of improvement for AEW in 2024 is just focus on your company. Stop laying out all the pot shots on your competition, on your opposition. Because since AEW started 5 years ago, there's always been at least one single mention of the WWE every single week, every single minute. It was okay when they first started because, yeah, they want to like plant their flag and stuff. But it's been like, what, a month? And it's gotten very annoying and unjustified since then. Especially, considering where they are in 2023 and they're still throwing shots at WWE. They're not in a position to do that anymore, especially where they are ratings-wise, YouTube viewership-wise, social media number-wise. They shouldn't be in a position where they should be taking shots at WWE anymore. Like, they don't have that kind of power to do that anymore. WWE, they do have that kind of position, but they choose not to because it's petty. It's petty. They don't see themselves doing that. So 2024 should be the year that Tony Khan finally wakes up, or at least his dad should be waking his ass up and realizes his company must focus on themselves and themselves only. Stop throwing all these shots at WWE. Stop trying to get all these ex-WWE guys in, unless, they want to come in, maybe. And just focus on yourselves. Focus on trying to grow your own stars. Build them up. And just focus on putting out the damn best product that you can. Balance out the sports-based matches with some actual storylines that people can care about and bring in some new viewers. So hire a creative writing team. Stop keeping away the casual wrestling fan. Stop making people do extra homework, and no more backstage drama. And just focus on your damn company for once, please. Stop throwing all these pot shots at WWE, man. So anyway, it's a new year for AEW. I mean, certainly all these wrestling companies, but for AEW to thrive and try to survive in 2024, those are my 5 areas of improvement that, in my opinion, that could help them, or at least try to help them going into 2024. But let me know your 5 areas of improvement. I mean, there'll certainly be a lot of them that they need going into the new year, but I would like to know your own in the comments below. Anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out of a new video going to close out 2023. And as always, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until the next one, peace out and Happy New Year.